Hello guys, welcome again to Master's class. I am Engineer Eli. Today we are quickly going into solving some set of questions. As usual, like I do say, this is not GRE questions. So disclaimers, please and please. These are type of questions you expect in your GRE or your GMAT. So not that we are giving you a live GRE questions or something of sort. But most importantly, these are what GRE will test you on or GMAT. So we are trying as much as possible to help you solve most of them and make sure you actually understand how it is being done. Now, guys, today we are looking into 7 to 8 questions according to my student that was sent to me. I should help them, as usual. And also I decided to come online to actually just use that opportunity to solve all the questions. Like I do say, please keep it in mind, GRE questions or GMAT questions, all these questions are what you guys can actually do, to be honest. They are what you can do. In more serious notes, you can do them on your own. But the major problem most of you guys have is that you don't actually understand the logic of getting the question. What do I mean by getting the question? Most of the questions are just, when I say simple, they are only based on interpretation. That's just the truth about it. They are based on interpretation. When I say interpretation, like, understand the question. When you understand the question, I don't think you are going to have any problem. Let's take, for example, the first question here. Look at the question. A certain right angle. That means there is a right angle. A certain right angle. So what happened to the certain right angle? As integers. A certain right angle as integers. See, as integers. You know the meaning of integers. Integer values for the 3 sides. I mean, you are talking about right angle triangle. Maybe the first thing I do is just to draw out a right triangle and show you how it can work. For example, maybe we have a simple right triangle here. Everybody should be able to see this. So that's one right angle triangle. So it has its 3 sides. Of course, there are 3 sides in a right angle triangle. 1, 2, and 3. The hypotenuse is the longest side, and the rest is history. I'm very sure you know that. So now, the next thing here is that it has the 3 sides and the property where its area is equals to perimeter. Area, keyword. Area is equals to perimeter. The area is equals to its perimeter. So now, what do you start thinking about? Because your own is ordinarily you cannot figure out a triangle that has area that is equals to perimeter. But because the examiner actually wants you to understand that it is a right angle triangle that has its area equals to perimeter. So what comes to your mind is, what is the property of the right angle triangle? So what is the property of the right angle triangle, guys? Well, I ask you, the property of the right angle triangle, the first property is that they obey the Pythagoras theorem. So you quickly start writing the Pythagorean triplet. So as many as you can figure out, basically they won't ask you something that is kind of, too long or, what you cannot think about. So let's see some simple triplets that we have learned from junior classes. Look at this. If I go with 3, 4, 5, apologies, that is 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have, I think this is actually giving me angle instead of direct something. Wow. So if you have 3, 4, and 5, for example, so let's see, is this 3, 4, 5 triplet having a situation whereby the area is equals to the perimeter? Now what is the area of a triangle? Half times base times height. The base is 4, the height is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Then 12 divided by 2 is 6. Whereas the perimeter of any shape is adding the 3 sides together. So if we had 3 plus 4 plus 5, you and I know that 3 plus 4 plus 5 is going to give us, that is 7 plus 5, that is 12. So here what I'm saying is the perimeter is not equals to the area. So 3, 4, 5 does not work. You move to the next one. The next type of triangle you can think about. That is just what you need to do here. Let's check the 6, 8, and 10. So you check the area and also check the the perimeter. First and foremost, let's look at the perimeter. The perimeter is 6 plus 8 plus 10. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 10 is 24. So I don't think this one should be a problem. 24. Let's check the area. Area of a triangle, for those who are asking, is half base times height. So this is the base, 8 times height is the 6. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 divided by 2 is 24. You can see here. So this type of triangle is having its perimeter equals to the area. So in that case, what is what? What is the perimeter? The perimeter is 24. What's also this 24? So what's the answer now? You think what the two quantities are equal. Now, but one thing is, I do say in GRE and GMAT, you have to be careful because this may not be the only triangle that has is what? Area equals to what? Perimeter. You can also consider another one. Consider another one. Let me also distribute another value. Look at another type of triangle. Let's say we have 5, 12, and 13. Let's check that. Perimeter first. 5 plus 12 plus 13. 25 plus 5 is 30. Am I communicating? Fine. 30 is perimeter. Area. Half base times height. 12 times 5. 60. 60 divided by 2. 30. 30, 30. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So basically here, what I'm trying to say is that there are different triangles that can have what? For example, here we have about 2 different triangles that is having the base equals to the height. So in this case, we can never say these triangles will be what? Like the perimeter of the triangle is 24. For the first case we pick a situation whereby we have 6, 8, and 10. The perimeter of that one was 24. But when we pick another type of right angle triangle, 5, 12, and 13, the perimeter of 5, 12, and 13 is not 24, but it is 30. Perimeter of any shape is adding all the sides together. So in this case, here we have different quantities, different values. What we pick in GRE or GMAT, most especially in GRE type of question, we're going to pick what the relationship cannot be determined. So guys, you can see the way I'm not going to solve. Maybe I'm just going to solve 5 questions here. 1 is because of time. 2 is because I don't want you guys to get clumsy with questions. I just want you guys to relax. When you see questions, just make sure you take your time, understand the nature of the question. When you understand the nature of the question, yeah, fine. It will be so easy. Please give me the next question. Let me see the next one. Now, another question that is a GRE type of question you can expect. Look out for this. This one says, for 1 year, a particular year, Fred, I'm going to be picking some important things which I expect you guys to understand. Look at Fred invested a total of $8,000, keyword, in 2 interest-bearing accounts. That is, 8,000 naira was more like what? The principal. Are you there? Yes. So in 2 interest, so 8,000 naira, then it will yield interest over a particular rate and a particular time. So first and foremost, what comes to your mind is, oh fine, this is definitely going to be a question on rates, time, and interest, compound, and simple. So if you know the formula, you don't need to be afraid. Understand the interpretation. What's now happening? Now, the first one was X dollar at 5% simple interest, and the second one was $5 at 3% simple interest. So the 2 investments was made at, one was at a particular dollar, we don't know, was called S, but the rate was 5%. Excuse me. The second was Y, which was what? Invested at the rate of 3%. So now, if you watch, now look at the last part of the statement. The last part says, these 2 earnings, the simple annual interest of the 2, both the X dollar at 5% and the Y dollar at 3%, now yield a total of what? 326. So now, look at what we have. Quantity A and B. Quantity A says, fine, X minus Y. B says S minus Y, 400. So that means you have to calculate the value of the money that Fred invested. So we can do that together, and if you have to do that together, fine. Let's use the red this time around. I'm going to form something like equation, but I do tell you there are different or numerous methods you can apply to solve mathematics. Let's use the formula method. very quickly. I'm going to cut a lot of things, but I believe you are still going to get it. Now watch. Let's start. The total amount of money was 8,000. That means X plus Y is equals to 8,000. That's the first case. In fact, I can use the direct shortcut because I know the money does not exceed what? Does not exceed 8,000. And I know that what? We are trying to look at what percent of something, but I will teach you that maybe later. Let me solve the normal way, which you are expected to interpret this. Now, fine. Now, the first one was 5%. 5% is 0.05 of x. That's 0.05x. Then the other one was plus 3% is 0.03y. Is leading the total interest of what? TE26. You can see this is better in the sense that you are having two systems of equations that you can solve for x and y simultaneously. So you can see. So it's kind of very simple to solve for x and y. Now another way I would have loved to do this is, okay, fine. Let me just pick two money that the sum will be equals to 8,000. For example, then I will now see, okay, at a particular percent and at a particular percent, will the money be greater than 400 or will it be what? Less than 400. That's what I'm just trying to do. But that may not be well understood by most of us because some of us are used to solving questions with interpretation directly. Yeah, this will not take your time. If you are good with system of equations, you should be able to do this under 2 minutes. So how will I do this? I think the fastest way is to do the substitution method, which you guys might have studied as well. So let's do the substitution method together. So doing the substitution method, let me come here. Now from equation 1, we can say x is equals to, I'm bringing y to the other side, 8,000 minus y. So this particular value, dear student, I am going to substitute in y. So if I substitute this particular value in y, what am I going to have here? So where I see, I said in y, where I see x in the second equation here, I'm going to put 8,000 minus y. So let's do that also together. So doing together is always the best because I believe that is how you can actually get it on your own. So equation 2 was 0.005x. So I'm going to do that here for you guys to see. Fine. Yeah, we have 0.05. This is 0.05. Then we have x value is now 8,000 minus y. So I'm moving on, you can see, plus, I'm writing that it should be on a straight line, but because of the space, I'm going to write is 0.03y. This is giving me 326. As you can see, this is 326. So the rest is just for me to make sure I expand this guy and I'll be able to do that. So I can do that because I know 5 times 8 is 40. I also have a calculator. This should be 400. This times this, guys. I'm going to have 400. And this times this is minus 0.05y. Then I have plus, you can see, it's so easy. Plus 0.03y is equals to 326. So now it's just a matter of what? Collecting like times and making sure I finish well. So now what I do here is that this minus this should be something like negative 0.02y is now equals to, look at what I'll do. 326 minus 400 is negative. This is like 74, I guess. Hopefully I'll be right. 74, yeah, 74. Here we say negative gets cancelled out. So we can say y equals to 74 divided by 0.02. More like saying 74 times 2. 816. I'm saying 148. So now we have, hopefully, maybe it is 148, I'm not sure. 74 divided by. So let's do calculator I have. I have a calculator here so that we can be sure of our answer. So what I did, guys, this minus this is 0.02. 326 minus 400. So I don't think that one should be a problem. 326 minus 400 should be like 74. So 74 divided by 0.02 should be that. So 74 divided by 0.02. 480 or what? 3,700. Fine. So that means this guy Y is equals to 3,700. So it's kind of too long. This I can do in 30 seconds honestly, but because of the way it is. So if Y is 3,700, the total money invested X plus Y is 8,000. So my question will now be, what will be the value of X? X will be what? Just say 8,000 minus 3,700. So 3,700 minus 8,000 will give us something like 4,300. So it's kind of simple in this method, but it's kind of lengthy. That's the only problem with this. It's kind of lengthy, it's too long. So you can avoid all this long when you are doing GRE. It's kind of, you need to be very fast. And if you are very fast, it should be what? Directly. So look at the question, don't let us forget. The initial question was X minus 1. So we are saying 43 minus 37. You and I know is 600. So 600 compared to 400. What will be the answer? Quantity A is bigger. So this is what we're talking about. But this can be done in a shorter method. For example, look at two values that when you add together is going to give you 8,000. So what am I trying to say? If 8,000 is the total amount invested, you can actually pick a value that, let's say I'm picking the first money to be 4,000 naira or 4,200, or I don't want to pick now number. I can just say, okay, fine. I have what percent will give me 400. I can just look for that. But if that one is not coming, like I said, you can avoid all these and make sure you follow the normal traditional way of solving like this. It won't take you too long if you actually know what you're doing. So the next one, let me do 2 or 3 more. It's just for you guys to just see 1 or 2 things. So now this is another question. I think this is based on stats. Yes, this should be statistics. So if this is statistics, we have the partially completed table above shows student enrollment at Park High School in January 2012. Fine. If a female student is chosen at random, what is the probability that she is in grade 9? Now, the first thing is we should understand probability formula is just the required outcome over the total outcome. When it is in tabular form here, we have to first say female. We don't know this code.